Nico, and welcome to my channel. On this channel I talk about gothy things and just things I like. And the thing I like more than anything, at least in the area of music, is Fields of the Nephilim. So today I thought we could do a little album review. If you're interested in more Nephilim after this video, check out my Fields of the Nephilim past, present, and future video, where I go into more depth about the band's history and the impact of their music. Fields of the Nephilim began as a goth rock band in the 1980s and transitioned into metal later in their career, so I wanted to analyze their earliest album, Dawnrazor, which came out in 1987. Even though it's been 36, almost 37 years, it still leaves a strong first impression. The album cover features the band members illuminated from the back with their imposing silhouettes, very reminiscent of Once Upon a Time in the West. Not only creating interesting visuals featuring cowboy hats and dusters, but announcing what would become their electric stage presence. The debut album attempts to catch their overall energy in the studio setting, but sadly dilutes their ferocious presence, which can only be portrayed visually on the album cover. Early critics compared Fields of the Nephilim to the Sisters of Mercy, which, let's be real, every goth rock band is compared to the Sisters. However, Dawnrazor only has a few similar elements to the Sisters and widely stands on its own. Dawnrazor embraces the rock and goth rock, including the use of a real drummer and the use of dual guitars which weave in and out of each other but flow as a single unit. Unlike many modern music productions, Fields of the Nephilim does not shy away from challenging the listener intellectually, both ideologically and musically. The album begins with Harmonica Man, a haunting rendition of a tune out of an Ennio Morricone film. I think that opening Dawnrazor with Morricone's Man with a Harmonica from Once Upon a Time in the West is a touch of genius. It reflects the cinematic approach of what follows, setting the stage for a gothic western experience. The first song on the album starts strong with Slow Kill. The tempo immediately increases, and Carl McCoy's hoarse, cracking vocals practically bounce off of the twanging bass lines. Sadly, this momentum is lost with Laura 2, which reads as more of a generic goth rock song with few of the band's signature elements. I believe this song is where the comparisons with Sisters of Mercy could be made, with deep brooding vocals followed by melodramatic highs and the use of a pluckier guitar, but from here on out we are solely in Nephilim territory. We quickly pick up the pace again with Preacher Man, its relentless rhythmic march and yelping backing vocals creating an array of dark, mystical soundscapes. This song, I believe, is where we will see the framework for Fields of the Nephilim's future albums. Featuring McCoy's signature vocal style of a ferocious growl coming from deep below, and striking guitar work with Western influences. McCoy had actually told House of Dolls magazine in 1987 that his deep guttural voice came from his stomach area, which I think is super cool, but back to the review. Preacher Man is built on an incredible assortment of guitar sleight-of-hand tricks where they just keep fusing riffs and alternating tones perfectly and only building momentum as they go. And this technique is continued in Vulcane and Reanimator. This distinct style is what sets Fields of the Nephilim apart from any other goth rock band at the time. The songs utilize every advantage of having amazing musicians with their own personal style, mixing together their talents to create a unique sound. Having two guitarists is not a luxury wasted, as each guitar is showcased but kept perfectly in sync so one is not highlighted over the other. The energy is kept strong until Vet for the Insane, the album's ballad. Utilizing the depths of Carl McCoy's haunting croons, long and droning with the feeling of oppressive anxiety. The lyrics on this track showcase the darkest side of McCoy's writing style. However, we quickly build back up again with Secrets and Dust with their memorable bass lines and stomping rhythm. Dust in particular is the song that brings the band's death and dust imagery, utilizing more of the religious and Western lyrical elements from Preacher Man. Thankfully, the next tracks, Reanimator and Power, hold up the rhythm, but suffer from repetitive lyrics which cause them to be less memorable against the rest of the album's more thought-out works. Which is so sad because Power actually features some very impressive guitar work. The Tower, the next song on the album, is one of the more thematically thought-out tracks. It's not written like a normal song and is written more like a poem. The Tower instead uses music to tell a story and showcases the strongest drums in the album. And finally, we reached Dawnrazor, the album's title track featuring the best of Carl McCoy's deep guttural roar, with some of the best guitar work amongst all of the tracks. Deep and echoing, melting perfectly into one another as they amplify McCoy's deep, haunting voice. I can easily see this song being mesmerizing live, as in the studio setting, the oppressive atmosphere cannot be contained. We keep up the guitar in the last track of the album, The Sequel. The song suffers from the same over-repetitive features as Reanimator, but the slow building of the song keeps it interesting enough to be a satisfying closer, and the title leaves a tinge of mystery as you wonder what the sequel to this album could bring. More than any other band from the time, Fields of the Nephilim were the most likely to polarize opinions. McCoy's voice and whole gloomy, oppressive atmosphere combined with Western elements may sound ridiculous to some, but others would describe this album as the equivalent of a cult B-movie. Loved by those it was meant for. Dawnrazor gives the listener the band's overall vibe, musically and visually, and weaves a complex tapestry of sounds using melancholic melodies and the deep, almost prophetic voice of the lead singer. It is a tantalizing taste of the true potential of Fields of the Nephilim. The title track showcases that more than most with a mix of masterpiece and wasted potential. This is due to the band's presence being dimmed down due to the studio's inability to capture their energy and vitality. However, I would say it's a solid debut album and creates a strong interest in the band's live performances. Dawnrazor does well at establishing Fields of the Nephilim presence amongst the other goth bands at the time, being unique enough to set them apart from the rest of the pack. The album does well at showcasing each musician's strongest points but suffers from repetitive lyrics which create some of their least interesting songs. So overall, I'd give this album a 7 out of 10, but that's also because I am the audience it was meant for. So do you agree with my rating? What would you give the album? Leave your opinions below. I do plan on reviewing the rest of Fields of the Nephilim's albums, so feel free to subscribe if you'd like to hear my completely biased opinion. Have a nice day.